open to a conversation. So it's not awkward with them sitting next to each other. They may not know each other, but there's something in common. So you know your guests, you're the host, you know your guests, and when you do a seating chart, and yes, you do need a seating chart, even if you're having a house party, you need to know where each guest is going to be seated and whom they're going to be seated next to. And again, you decide to pair them up either based on profession or something in common. So Bob may know Mary, and they may be in the same profession or a different profession, but they have something in common that is compatible, and that's how you see them. So they're comfortable having a conversation. That's the first thing. The second thing is, what I would suggest, you have to really put your menu together, because when some people are vegan or vegetarian, it's important that your menu is quite important to your dinner party. You know what you're serving, so you can also present that. You do something at dinner menu that's on their plate, so they know exactly when they're seated what is going to be their appetizer, and then what is going to be their salad, and then into the entree, the main course, and then thereafter, and then of course the dessert and what they're having for whether it's tea or coffee. So the menu is absolutely important, and it's important in a sense as a host for you to know who is at the party and what their food preferences are. Everyone tends to, like chicken, everyone eats chicken. But then if you have someone of a different religion and they're not into, or they wouldn't consume beef, or if they're vegan or vegetarian, then you need to know that. And it's also important to create your menu so that they can enjoy that meal at the dinner table and not feel that, okay, the host didn't take me into consideration when they were actually preparing for this dinner party. So now that you've planned a menu, it's easy to prepare, and it's easy to make in advance. If you're hiring a chef or you're doing it on your own, make sure that you do your prepping before. Thank you everyone for joining. I love you all. God bless you. Thank you so much for joining me. And after you've done that, so you have your guest list, you are going to make your seating chart, you're going to organize your food, your menu. Of course, you're going to have your drink menu, because again, you can decide to do something that is personalized, a signature drink or a cocktail for your guests. Again, make sure that you're making room, or you're accommodating those that will take alcohol and those that are not. So you're doing something that is non-alcoholic. You can do a spritzer for them. You can make lots of spritzers. I can provide you with a menu for a spritzer. You can do something fruity with seltzer water for them, so it tastes like if they're having champagne, but it's not. And then those that would enjoy alcohol, of course, you have beer and wine, and you make sure you list that on the menu also, so people are aware of what is available. If you want to make sure that everyone is happy and you have an excellent experience at your dinner party, make sure that you indicate. If you know you don't have Heineken, and maybe your guest drinks Heineken and you don't want to buy it because it's expensive, just make sure you list what you do have available on your menu, so they know exactly what is available to them. So you wouldn't have people asking, well, do you have this or do you have that, and you don't have it. So you save yourself from answering those questions if you make sure that you put it on the menu, so they know exactly what liquor or alcohol is available to them. Now, you also want to have your playlist. That's absolutely important. Now, even if you don't expect people to dance, if you're planning in a small space, you take that into consideration. I mentioned today on the Wedding Planner Lifestyle Mag, on that side, the magazine side, that because an event is like we're having mini monies due to the pandemic, now that our numbers are up again, banquet halls are accepting more than a certain amount. There's no restrictions anymore. Because you're having a small event, it doesn't mean that the elements should not be there. Actually, it's even more, you should pay attention to detail, because it's a small event. You have to make sure that everything is on point, and the things that you have at a larger event, those are the things that need to be there at a small event also. It's not about the size of the event, it's about the details that you're providing at that event, and the elements that make it actually special and personalized. So Expect, if you're not expecting people to dance because you're in a condo, or even if you're condo, you have room to dance. But if that's not what you're suggesting that they dance, just make sure you have music. Instrumental is wonderful. You may ask them, what would you like to hear, and make sure that you have a wonderful playlist put together prior to the event. Of course, they're your friends, so you'll know before, and you have a wonderful playlist if that's something instrumental. Now, if they want to dance and they don't mind, a small space or a large space, then of course you move your cocktail table aside and the end tables, and and you have them a party if that's what they want to do. So again, I just want to go over priority pointers for the holidays. Your guest list is important. It's important to organize your food. That would be your menu, your drink menu, and also to make sure that you have a wonderful playlist. Now, because we're coming out of post-pandemic, if you're planning something, a lot of people are still, I understand, working from home. So you may not be able to get together because some people may not be vaccinated as yet. Or even so, they're working from home, they're remote. So you may not be get together for the holidays. I would suggest that remote employees, just make sure that they're special to let them know and feel special. You send them a gift box of goodies. So physically, not via email, but you physically get a box put together. You can do that yourself. If you work with a big brand, I would suggest, that you have a contractor, someone put a party basket together. It could be cookies, candies, however you'd like to formulate that. Create it and send it to them. Remember, again, they're remote for over more than 18 months. And they're working from home, they're working virtually. So at times, the togetherness is not there, yet you are apart but together. And because you're having trouble coming together, you don't want them to feel left out. You don't want them to feel that it's Christmas and they're not getting into the Christmas spirit. So I do suggest that you make an effort to include them by sending them something physically. When you send them a physical box when they're remote, they get into the spirit. They feel that they're part of a team. They feel that they're not left out, and they understand that you're only separated due to because of the pandemic and because that's what the company is doing right now. But in the future going forward, you'll be together again. So make it special for them so that they feel included and connected. If you're not having a holiday party, I implore you to create a box, get something put together. If you're not, you can seek a wedding planner. Actually, I would suggest you look for a wedding planner. A lot of the wedding planners that I know, they're great at putting gift boxes together. They can put something wonderful together. You just give them an idea of if it's personal care, if it's makeup, if it's hair, whatever you'd like to do. If it's something that has to do with nails or makeup, and they can actually put a gift box together and you have that sent to your employee that's remote. Now, those are the tips that I have for you today. I wanted to personally extend my thank you to the International Association of Destination Wedding Planners. I want to say thank you so much to Joel and Kitsia and Lupita and Natalia and all the women that were part of the management and planning of the Love Mexico, WRTC Love Mexico 2021. It was amazing. I had a great time. Thank you so much for the invitation and the hospitality. A big shout out to Viviana at Xcarete Arte Hotel, Xcarete Arte Hotel. Thank you so much. See, I flubbed that and I got it right again. So thank you so much for the hospitality. It was a wonderful experience. My travel experience was wonderful. I just actually want to mention something now that I'm here. To people who are vaccinated and wasn't aware as I have, my experience was challenging in a sense where wasn't aware that I needed a PCR test leaving Toronto. So that was an eye-opener for me, hence the reason why I missed my flight on the Monday, had to travel on the Tuesday. But just so you know, if you receive your vaccine and your second vaccine is under 14 days. So if you're not over the 14-day mark, then you need to have a full PCR test before you even get to the airport. And that test has to be within 72 hours before you board your flight, although you're fully vaccinated, if it's under 14 days. If it's over 14 days, then they can still ask for it, but it's not necessary. Also, when you're coming back, you still do need your PCR test. The same applies. It has to be within 72 hours, although you're fully vaccinated. And again, it depends on the location that you're flying out of, so the country that you're flying out of. So please do check and make sure that you are going to the website, you're going to the Government of Canada website, and you're doing your research before you leave, so your travel would be hitch-free or incident-free. For me, it was a learning experience. It was frustrating at some times, but I thank God that I had a different attitude towards it. It was a learning experience. I can talk about it now and I can share it with someone else. So please do check. Make sure that your both vaccines, your second vaccine must be over 14 days in order for you to travel without the PCR test, and an airline can still ask for it. So although you may be over the 14 days, they may still ask. So it's totally up to discretion of the carrier that you're flying on. And of course, when you're coming back from your destination, again, just make sure you check in. If it's a requirement for you to leave, and make sure that you have the test within 72 hours.